Hello and welcome to Pabbly. In this video, we are going to understand how to create and enroll user in Thinkific Course for successful payment in Pabbly Subscription Billing. So here my objective is that every time a user purchases any particular course using Pabbly Subscription Billing and the moment this payment is successful, then automatically this user who has just made the payment should be created as a new user in Thinkific and should be enrolled in the same course in Thinkific. Now to do this, we'll have to integrate the two applications, and the same thing can be done using Pabbly Connect. So here my trigger application will be Pabbly Subscription Billing and my action application will be Thinkific. Now to understand how you can integrate and automate this entire process yourself without the need of any coding skills, let's begin. So this here is the dashboard of Pabbly Connect and you can reach here by clicking on the link which is given in the video description. So if you are an existing user, simply sign in, and if you are a new user, you will have to sign up. It is not going to take more than 2 minutes, and also at the time of account creation, you will get 100 free tasks. Now once you reach the dashboard, on the right hand side there's a tab Create Workflow. Click on this. This dialog box has appeared and here you have to name your workflow. So you can give any random name. I'm going to name it as per my objective, where I have to enroll a user in a particular course in Thinkific for successful payment in Pabbly Subscription Billing. Now here I'm going to click on Create, and as we do that, here we have reached another window which has got two extremely important events. One here is trigger, another one is action. Now triggers and actions are basically those two principles or concepts on which this entire automation works. Trigger is when this happens, action says do this. Basically, action here is the automated response of your trigger application. Now let's understand this with the help of our current use case. So here I want that every time there is a successful payment through Pabbly Subscription Billing. So here the trigger event, so this is the event that is going to make this workflow run, and here it will be successful payment. So every time there's a successful payment, now this user who has just made the payment, first we are going to look for that particular user in Thinkific. So if the user is already there, we are just going to enroll it to a particular course, and if the user is not there, so first we are going to create a user and then enroll. Now you can see here we have received this webhook URL, so I'm going to copy this. This URL is going to act as a bridge for connecting Pabbly Connect and Pabbly Subscription Billing. Now we have to read the following help text. So this help text is given. Let me show you exactly what you have to do. So this here is the dashboard of Pabbly Subscription Billing. Let me take you to the products. So you can see that I have got 3 products here. So we have test new, Pabbly test product and PHP course for beginners. Now let's say that the user wants to purchase this particular product. So what you have to do, you have to first go to settings. Now within settings we have got webhook, and now here I'm going to add a new webhook. Let's say the name of the webhook is demo test, and now which particular product do I want? So either I can go for all products or I can go for the specific product. So I'm going to select a specific product. The name is PHP course for beginners. Now select plan. So I already have created a plan. This is a one-time plan. The name is test plan. You can create your own. Now here we have to paste the URL that we have just received. Now do you want to protect the webhook URL with basic authentication or webhook retry? You can select one. I'm just going to leave it blank, and now here we have to select the event. So we are going to select successful payment under payment option. Now let's go down and just click on save. So as we do that, you can see that the webhook has been added successfully. So once this is done, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take you back to Pabbly Connect, and here you can see we have received a test response. So I'm going to click on recapture webhook response, and now I'm going to do a test submission to check if Pabbly Connect and Pabbly Subscription Billing are properly integrated. So let's go back to Pabbly Payments, and now here I'm going to take you to the products. Here we are selecting PHP course for beginners. Now let's go to checkout. So this here is the checkout page, and now here I'm going to fill up the basic information. Let's say the first name is student, the last name is demo. Then we have the email address which is demos@pabblytuts.com, and then we have the billing address. So let's say the country here is India. Let's say the state is Madhya Pradesh. Now here I am going to fill in the credit card details. This is just a test card, And now I'm going to click on complete order. And as we do that, here you can see that the payment has been successful. So once this transaction has been successful, taking you back to Pabbly Connect, let's see if we have received the response. And yes, here we have received the response. So this here, you can see that the event type is payment success. Event source is checkout. Here we have the data user ID. Then this here is the name of the state. Now as I take you down, we need the user details. So here we have the shipping address name. This is the complete address. Here is the date and time of transaction. You can see that the response message is successful purchase. So here we have got the first name, then we have the last name, here we have the complete name. This here is the email address of the person. So once we have received all this information, what is my next objective? I want to first search for this user in Thinkific. So if the user exists, then I'm going to simply enroll it to a particular course. And if the user doesn't exist, then I'm going to first create the user and then enroll. So I'm going to choose my action application as Thinkific. Let's click on this. And now the action event here will be to search for user. Search user. Now here we had two options. Either you could have searched by the ID, or here we have options like you can search with the help of email address, etc. So here I have selected the second option, which is search user by email address. First of all, I'm going to click on connect. Here Pabbly Connect wants to connect with Thinkific account. I have selected add new connection, connect with Thinkific. Now here we have to enter the subdomain to set up this connection. So this here is my Thinkific account, and now here I'm going to take you to the dashboard. So this here is the dashboard, and you can see here in the address bar this thing before thinkific.com and after https:/. Here we have got our subdomain. So I'm going to copy this, go back to Pabbly Connect, paste the same here. You can also receive this. First you have to go to settings. Now within settings you have code and analytics, and there under API you will find this subdomain. Now here I'm going to click on save. And as we do that, here we can see that the authorization has been successful. So once Thinkific and Pabbly Connect are connected, now here we are going to search the user with the help of the email. We have other options like role, external source and group ID. Now here we have to map the value of this email address. How do I do that? So as you click on this, you can see the previous step, and here I'm going to look for the email address, and this here is the email address of the person. Now this method with which I have added the information here is known as mapping, and this is important so that every time you receive a new response, when this workflow is running in real time, that can be taken here. Now let's say that I had written this information manually. In that case, it would have become static and it wouldn't have changed even when you had received some new response. So to avoid that, you have to map the information. Next, I'm going to click on save and send test request. And here you can see we have received the response. So we have got the ID. According to this particular user do exist in Thinkific. This is the created date and time, and here we have the first name, last name, full name and the email address. So we have received all the details. Here we have also received the phone number. So once we have received this, now that this user exists, I've got two routes. So first of all, here I'm going to add another action step, and this time I'm going to use a feature by Pabbly which is router. Now this router step allows you to execute different actions based on the filter conditions you set. So here I'm going to first of all rename the routes that I have. Let's say the first route is when the user doesn't exist. Now when the user doesn't exist, in that case what would I want? First I'll have to create the user and then enroll. So I'm going to now rename the second route as well, where the user exists. Now let's click on update. Now let's say if the user exists, in that case, so I'm going to set filter and action steps for user exists. Now here we are going to select the label. So I'm going to click on this, go to step 2. You can see here we have received the ID. So if this ID exists, in that case it means that the user exists. Now as I click on save and send test request, so here you can see the status is a success. Why? Because the condition is true. And now I'm going to add an action step here where the application is going to be Thinkific. Let's click on this. And the action event here will be to directly enroll the user, as the user already exists. Here I'm going to click on connect. So I'm going to go ahead with the existing connection. And now here first of all we have to select the course. The course is PHP course for beginners. For this user ID, I'm going to turn this mapping button on, and here I'm going to go to step 2, and this here is the user ID. Next, we need the activated date and expiry date. So if you have got the dates, you can just mention them here in this particular format. If you have not provided the activated date, then the enrollment is a free trial, and if you are not providing the expiry date, then in that case there is no expiry date for the enrollment. Now I'm going to click on Save and Send Test Request. And as we do that, here we have received the response. Let's see if this particular person has been enrolled to PHP course for beginners. So let's go, and I'm going to take you to Thinkific now, and here I'm going to take you to users. Let's click on this. So this here is the user student demo, and now you can see here we have the enrollment. So I'm going to click on this and see if the user has been enrolled, and yes, we can see that the user has been successfully enrolled. Now let's move to the second condition where the user doesn't exist. So I'm going to quickly close this, and this here is user doesn't exist. Here I'm going to set the filter and action steps for route 1. Let's click on this. Now here we have to select the label. So as I click on this, let's go to step 2. Here we have received the ID. So if the ID does not exist, that means that this user doesn't exist. So I'm going to click on Save and Send Test Request. So here you can see that the condition is false. Why? Because this user already exists. Now let's say that the user doesn't exist. In that case, first we had to create a user and then enroll. So I'm going to close this. And now as I take you up here, so I'm going to recapture webhook response. Let's click on yes. So as we do that, here it is waiting for another webhook response, and now I'm again going to take you to Pabbly payments. Let's go and click on checkout, and this time I'm going to fill the details assuming that this particular user doesn't exist. So let's give a totally different name. So it is total, the last name is different, and the email address is total@pabblytuts.com. Okay, now here we have the billing address. So the country is India. Then the state here will be, let's say it is Maharashtra. Here I have filled in the test card details. The CVV is this. I'm going to complete the order. And as we do that, here we can see that the transaction has been successful. Going back to Pabbly Connect, here we have received the response. Now what I'm going to simply do is I'm going to simply refresh this. So wherever we have mapped the information, it is automatically going to take that. So let's go to Thinkific, and here you can see it has now taken total@pabblytuts.com. Now I'm going to click on Save and Send Test Request here, and we can see here we have received the response, and this says that the user doesn't exist. So set filter and action steps, and now here the ID does not exist. So as I click on Save and Send Test Request, so here you can see that the status is shown as success, that the condition is true. Now in this particular case, now I'm going to create this user in Thinkific. So I'm going to choose my application as Thinkific. Let's click on this, and the action event here will be to create user. Let's click on connect, and I'm going to go ahead with the existing connection. And now as I take you down, let's enter the details. First name, so I'm going to go to step 1, and here I'm going to write first name. So let's go down. So this here is the first name. Then what do we need? The last name. So again I'm going to click on this. Here I'm going to look for last name. This is the last name. Then we need the email address. So let's go to step 1 once again, and this here is the email address. Okay, next we need the password. So let's create a password. So I'm going to go to step 1. Now here we have received the data user ID. So I'm going to take this, and ahead I'm going to write PWD. So you can create a password on your own. Now here you have to select a role. So here we have the options of affiliate, course admin, group analyst, site admin. So you can select a role as per your need. You can even create a new role in Thinkific and then map the same here. Then we have the bio, company, headline, affiliate code, affiliate commission type. All these details are there. I'm going to simply click on Save and Send Test Request. So if these details are there with you, you can always map the information. Now here you can see that we have received the response. So here first of all we have received this user ID, then this is the created date and time. Now as I take you down, here is the first name, last name, full name, and this here is the email address. So once we have received all this information, now I want to enroll this user in a specific course in Thinkific. So again, my application will be Thinkific. Let's click on this. And the action event here will be to enroll user. Here it is. Let's click on connect. And I'm again going to go ahead with the existing connection. Now once the connection is all set, let's go down. So first of all, the name of the course. So I want this particular person to be added to PHP course for beginners. So I've selected the name of the course. For the user ID, I'm going to turn on this mapping button, delete this, and let's go to step 2 here. And here I have received the ID. So I have selected this. Next, we need the activated date and expiry date. Now you can always provide an activated date for the user and an expiry date, and if you do not do that, so it is considered to be as a free trial and there is no expiry. So I'm just going to leave this blank, and now I'm going to click on save and send test request. So as we do that, here we can see we have received the response. This here is the ID created at user email, username, expiry, user ID. Here is the course name, here is the course ID. So we have received all these details. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take you to Thinkific. First of all, I'm going to take you to users. Let's go to users. Now here I'm going to search for the user that we have created. You can see total different. This particular user has been added here, and here we can see that the user has also been enrolled. Let's click on this to see. So we can see that the person has been enrolled to this particular course. So this means that our integration till here is a complete success. Taking you back to Pabbly Connect. So here what I'm going to do is, we can see that our integration is a success. Let's check the same in real time. In that case, I'm going to take you back to Pabbly Payments. Go to checkout. Here I'm going to add another information. So let's say that the first name is user. The last name is new412. Then we have the email address, which is usernew412@pabblytuts.com. And now here the name of the country is India. Then the state here is, let's say it is Madhya Pradesh. Here I'm going to add the test card details. Enter the CVV, complete order. Now as soon as we have done that, here we can see that the transaction has been successful. Now I'm going to take you to Thinkific. Let's go to users here. So I'm going to support your students. Let's go to users here. And here I'm going to look for the user that we have just created. So you can see user new412. This user has been added here. Let's go to enrollments. And here we can see that the user has been enrolled to PHP course for beginners. So this means our integration is a complete success. Taking you back to Pabbly Connect, let's quickly understand what we have done. So here our trigger was Pabbly Subscription Billing, where the event was successful payment. Then our action application was Thinkific, where first we had to search for the user, and then we had used a feature by Pabbly, which is router, that runs conditionally. Here we had got two conditions. If the user doesn't exist, in that case, once it has looked for the user, it is going to create the user and then enroll the user to the course. And if the user exists, then it is directly going to enroll the user. I hope this is absolutely clear to you. If in case you have any doubt, you can refer to the workflow which is given in the video description. You can also clone the same and start to process immediately. Apart from this, if you have any specific integration to work on, you can always write to us.
Not only this, but you can integrate multiple applications using Pabbly Connect software. To ask any of your query, you have to write at forum.pabbly.com. You can also visit our website, which is www.pabbly.com/connect. To get all the details about the latest updates, the integrations and applications, you can visit our Facebook group. If in case you have found this video helpful, then do not forget to share this with your friends and colleagues so that they can also get into automation and make their life easy. I'm going to see you very soon with different integrations and automations. Do not forget to like, share and subscribe. Take care of yourself.